Hi, I'm Nikki Woods, and like I said, this year I'm talking to the women that inspire me. And so today I have the pleasure of talking to Transformational Coach Kim Grimes, who also specializes in motivating the teen spirit. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, Nikki. How are you?
I am well. Now, let's just start by saying, a lot of things happened at the end of 2012 that affected our children greatly. What do you say to teens to help keep them motivated in a time of stress and turmoil such as the end of the year?
So, what I say is I encourage them to let them know that not not to be hopeless, that we are here to give them a voice to their feelings, and that helping them to communicate effectively is key. Helping them to identify those feelings that are coming up in them and putting words to them is a major factor. When I talk to teens, I want them to be open and I want them to feel safe. And what I mean by that is I create a safe space for teens to be themselves. And when teens recognize or acknowledge that they're in a safe space, they will truly be themselves. They will open up. They will trust you with whatever it is that they have to share. And so it's creating that safe space that allows them to deal with their feelings, with the issues that are in their life or that they're dealing with on a daily basis. So that being said, I try to encourage them to find a way to communicate or find someone to communicate to, and I'm always available.
Well, and I guess that's another question. I don't have teenagers yet, but I have a niece and two nephews who are teenagers. And I find often that they're more comfortable talking to somebody who may not be their parent, only because I guess they feel a little safer, or it's a more judgment-free zone when they're talking to somebody else. What do you say to parents that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable in allowing their kids to talk to other adults?
Okay, and as well as talk to them. So I help teens as well as parents. I give them tools to communicate better. So I will share with a parent, especially a parent who sees that their teen is talking more to me than to them. And I share with them why, and that is because I create that safe space. They know that I'm not going to judge them. One. Two, they know that there's no repercussion coming from me when we have a conversation. And three, they know that I'm going to give them unconditional love as well as their parents. And so with that being said, I take those three tools, we call them agreements, and I share that with the parent. And I say, this is what you do. You have to create a safe space. And the safe space exists or is created by three agreements. No judgment or reserve all judgment, no repercussion, and unconditional love. So it looks something like this. I'll share it with a teen as well. And I'll say, once you share this with your parent, it looks like this. So you can go to your parent and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, I really have something that I want to discuss with you. But can we create a safe space first? And in doing that, it allows the parent to become present as well as the teen. And when they're both present, then you can really get effective communication going. When the teen knows that they are not going to be judged by their parent or anyone else, and there's not going to be any repercussion, and they already know that the parent loves them. So then it opens them up more. When they know they're going to be judged or they're going to get in trouble for something they said or how they say it, or it's going to be thrown back in their face later on, they don't want to play with them.
But I guess as a parent, I can think of a lot of situations where there should be repercussions. I think of a lot of discussions you can have with your teen, whether it be around drugs or other illegal activity, where there needs to be some consequences.
Yes.
So how do you create the safe space there in a zone where a teenager feels safe, but also parent them, also guide them, because they do need that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So as a parent, parenting is 24/7.
Yes.
It doesn't stop at all. And even watching the news yesterday, the father of all I can think of is his last name. They realized that they will always be, even though they lost their son, they will always be a parent. So that being said, as you're parenting, you're laying the foundation. You're sharing information and speaking with your children and making them aware of what it is that they can do, what it is that they can't do. And you're sharing at that time the consequences. So even when they come to you and try to create a safe space, and we're not saying that there will not be any consequence. What we're saying is that we're going to allow an effective communication to go on here. So I'm allowing you to open up and share with me. But you have to trust me that I'm going to keep my word and that you're going to keep your word. But your teens, your children know of the consequences. So it's nothing that we have to introduce. Mm-hmm. Again, when we talk about, in our workshop, we talk about rules. And we said rules are meant to be broken. They are created to be broken. Anytime your parents tell you, don't go over there by that hot stove, what are you going to do? Go by the hot stove. If they say, don't hang out with Joe or Susie, what are you going to do? Hang out with Joe and Susie. So those are rules. But what we teach the teens are agreements. And agreement is exactly that, where two or more people come into an agreement about whatever is stated. And so in a safe space, we created those three agreements. It does not negate the fact that there are consequences because of the decision that they made. But what we're saying to them is, because you came and we created a safe space, I'm not going to react or respond in the way that I would if we didn't create the safe space, right? But know that there are consequences.
My sons are like, safe space, safe space, safe space.
Right. So the teams it's really just getting them to be comfortable with that, but we also have to educate the parents with it as well to welcome them. Because at one workshop, we had a whole family. And she was loving the exercises, but the fact of the safe space went over her head, and I just shared it with her. But before that, one of the things we do also, Nikki, sorry.
That's okay.
I know you really.
Yeah.
Is that we help them to be present. We teach them how to be present. And so during the exercise, or at that moment, I just said to her daughter, Shakira, be present with me. And immediately her daughter responded and was present with me. And so the mother responded, she was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And I said, yes, the tools that we teach are not only for this workshop, it's also outside of this workshop. And now, since your whole family knows the language, implement it daily in your daily routine. Had another parent whose daughter they both were at the workshop, and one of them was just cutting up, but the mother, it was triggering the mother. Mm-hmm. So I said to the mother, so when are you going to implement the tools that you? And she said, you know what, you're right. And that was 3 months ago, and I have not had a call from her since saying, Kim, help me out with this. And that is because she started creating safe space for her daughter to express how she felt. Instead of getting upset with her daughter, she created that safe space. Because her daughter was a little intimidated about going to mom and saying, Mom, can we create a safe space? But by the time the daughter did that or wanted to do it, she had already kicked her mom off. So that's where
And I think it's a lot harder to remember some of our techniques, if you will, when you are stressed or when you are already irritated or frustrated with something that your child may be doing. I have a question because I think that a lot of the kids that I talk to, it seems like one of the biggest struggles that they have is with their self-esteem. I mean, I think that they're bombarded with so many media images and there's so many things happening and they're pulled in so many different directions that they really seem to be suffering from low self-esteem. How do you deal with kids that may not see themselves as valuable in this world?
Okay, so what I do, and it's an exercise that we do, and I love it. So, and I'll do it one-on-one, or either we'll do it in a group. I begin to ask that person to start identifying or share with me what they think of maybe a baby from, infancy to a toddler age, and maybe about 5. And just start sharing with me what they think about them. Action words about them. Adorable, they're loving, they're special, they're cute, they're determined, they're fearless, so I get them in an exercise and start getting them to display that or share that information. And once they share that information, then I say to them, okay, so we all have been from infancy until 5 years old. Every last one of us. So what happened between 5 and the time or the age that you are? Because all of that you describe or that they describe to me, it's us. It's who we are. We were born that way. We were born with characteristics that are not taught. No one taught us how to be fearless. No one taught us how to love. No one taught us how to be determined. None of that. It's in us. It's instinct in us. And so that being said, I said, what happened? And so I'll share with them. Then I say to them, okay, now share with me how you feel about yourself. Right? And then share with me what people have said to you about it. Right? Including parents and family. Just share those things with me. And those things become the what we call oil, because we do a demonstration with it, and we show them where everything that someone has said to them that is negative or made them feel bad about themselves, we list them or have them call it out, and then they begin to see. And so then we share with them how they picked up what people had said about them.
Right.
Then on top of that, I ask, okay, so now share with me, how do you, feel about yourself? First I say what people say about you, then how do you feel about yourself, and then what you believe. And I show them that all of that, what they believe, what they think, what they feel about themselves, is something that they put on, something that they picked up, something somebody said to them to make them feel that way. But initially, they were everything that we listed: determined, smart, confident, all of that, because that's how we describe them from, and that's who we are. So that being said, I help them to see that how they feel is something that they picked up and they put on them. So then I, in turn, help them to begin to remove it. So one of the things that we do is we help them to create an empowerment track in their mind, because we think negative a lot, so we help them to do that. Again, going back to all of those words that they created, we then have them go back. I think we'll have them go back and use those words to describe who they are. And so that helps them see who they are. And this is an exercise that we do in the workshop as well. Then
that can work well for adults too.
The adults in the workshop, those are fine. And so the demo is really with oil, Coca-Cola, and sparkle. Glitter, not sparkle, glitter. We pour the oil mean, we pour the Coca-Cola in the glass, and then that's the real thing. And it represents all the words that we were born with, that we defined, and then the oil, all the bad stuff that was said and that we believe. And then here's the thing in what we show them. Because you have all of this on you, because you believe all of this, you then walk around with a mask. And that's your mask. And so we show them how the glitter becomes their mask. Because they don't know who they are. They don't know how to respond.
Right.
So it's mask.
So tell me, because I know that you're, like I said, you're passionate about the youth, and we talked about some of the tragedies that happened at the end of 2012. And so real quickly, tell me what you're doing for Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that you asked that question. So yesterday, the parents of the 20 children who were killed in the massacre back in December came out with a promise.
Right.
And it's called the Sandy Hook Promise. And you can go online and you can agree with their promise. And that is basically to do whatever you can to keep our community safe, our children safe, our schools safe, do whatever you can. It's in detail. And so what I'm doing is I'm calling all my friends and all my family members, business colleagues, associates, to let them know that I made the promise. And in that, I would like them to help me in keeping the promise, not only in my neighborhood, not only in my community, but in their community. And so my issue, my concern, focuses on emotional health. And emotional health falls under the mental health that they're talking about. Because here they're thinking, they know that there are multiple solutions. There are multiple issues or parts to this problem. And one is gun control. The other, mental health. And the other, they're saying, hey, let's have a discussion about how we keep our kids safe in school.
Right.
So instead, the emotional healthiness of our team. So when you look at Adam Lanza, who was the perpetrator in this, he was 20 years old. They said he had mental issues. And probably so. But what I can tell you is this, that Adam was hurting, he was frustrated, he was angry. He did not know how to effectively communicate. So how do I know he was hurt? Well, hurting people hurt people. And so in that, Adam could not or did not feel that he could express how he was feeling, the thoughts that were coming his way.
Right.
Grab the door bag. He did not have a safe space to go and express how he felt and not feel judged or feel as if he's going to deal with some repercussions. You know what I'm trying to say.
Repercussions.
Repercussions. Thank you.
That's what we're here for. That's what friends are for.
Thank you. So that being said, I'm offering and encouraging my friends and families to think about how we can bring motivating the team spirit to their neighborhood, because that's what we do. We teach teens how to fall madly in love with who they are and how to communicate effectively. And we also teach them how to make integrity-based decisions. So if I had an opportunity to reach Adam, well, I can't say that those 20 children will still be alive, but I can't say that they will be dead. And I'm saying that to say that if we, as a community, begin to create a safe space for our teens who are having a problem communicating with adults from the get-go, allow them to feel free to speak. And let me say this one more thing before I go. There's a young lady by the name of Courtney Webb. I don't know if you heard of her, who got in trouble because what she did is she went and wrote a poem about how she understood Adam and how it was based on her acknowledging and recognizing that he was at a point of hopelessness. She wrote this in a poem in her book, and her school suspended her.
Right.
So that Just that alone, that act says that I'm not giving you an opportunity to express yourself. Instead, I'm going to panic or react in a way that I'm going to punish you. Again, pushing teens to the point where they don't want to talk.
So how can people find you and get more information?
They can call me. 757, let me give you my number, 757-897-8964 is my cell phone. Or they can shoot me an email at kim@motivatingtheteenspirit.com.
Now, you want people calling you on your cell phone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm going to get another one and pass this on to someone.
Well, Kim, I appreciate you. My boys are going to be home in a second, so they're going to interrupt the whole thing. But I appreciate you, and I thank you for what you're doing. As a mother who's going to have some teens, I appreciate you.